knocked out of the head. Wrong intro. I forgot to change it. Anyway, welcome to the live. Thank you very much for coming over and joining us. Another Friday, another live. Special guest Earworm tonight. Spit it out, boy.
You can nearly say that.
I nearly said it. But before we get to the special guest Earworm, I turned my piece for the Makers Auction, and I thought I'd just show you. So here it is. Obviously an egg. Well, looks like an egg. With a piece of walnut, English walnut base with my maker's mark in the back. So this is my piece for auction. It's 4 inches high, just under 3 inches in diameter. It's made from all the offcuts I had from when I did my pen blank. So what I do, rather than throwing it all away, I cut it all in little squares and chunks. As you can see, there's loads of different bits in it. And then I turned it into an egg. I think it was Tuesday night I did it. No, Wednesday night when Wayne was doing his live, I was doing it. So there we go, highly polished up, Yorkshire gritted, original, microfine, burnish and cream. Then I buffed it on the chestnut buff and wheel, 3 stages to get, like you can see, a perfect mirror finish. So that's my piece. Will be auctioned off next Friday. So just quickly, while we're on the about the auction, a massive thank you to everybody who's contributed and bought raffle tickets for the auction. Raffle tickets are going to be going until midday on the 17th, so next Friday. As soon as it comes to midday, we're going to knock it on the head. That gives us a chance to get caught up and get them all allocated numbers. So the way, if you want raffle tickets, the way you got to do it is there's a GoFundMe link at the top of the tag to the top of the chat. You'll go over and you will make your donation through that for the raffle tickets. There's 3 different raffles. First raffle is Glyn Senior has donated a tub of original, tub of microfine, and a baseball cap of Yorkshire grit. Terry Smart from Chestnut Products has donated a £50 voucher that can be used on the Chestnut product or products website or shop. But it's only open to the UK users only due to the shipping laws outside for chemicals and this, that, and the other. And then the third prize is Jennifer from Jennifer's Craft and Creations has offered to do a mug with your desired logo printed to it. As long as it's a digital image, she's able to print that to a mug. And again, that's the third prize. So the way you go about doing that is, if you want to buy your tickets, go over to the GoFundMe, £2 a ticket, go over to the GoFundMe. If you want tickets for all of them, you pay your £6 donation and then just put tickets for all. If you want to just go for the Yorkshire grit, put your quantity of tickets in, say 2 tickets, £4, and then put YG in the comment, look, raffle tickets for YG. For the chestnut, put CN, and then for Jennifer's mug, put mug. So that's the way to get your tickets. Like I say, we'll be running that till next Friday at lunchtime. So other than that, that's what I want to say about the auction. Other than a massive thank you to each and every one who's donated and bought tickets. I set an achievement goal of £200. We've actually exceeded that and nearly doubled it. So I'm really do appreciate you guys supporting the auction, as well as everybody else who's donated. We did a Facebook page, so if you want to keep check on what's going on with the auction, I don't know if Brian can chuck in, or someone can chuck in the link for the Facebook page. Just go over. We're just keeping people, trying to keep people informed what's going on with the auction through the Facebook page, as well as obviously live streaming. So let's welcome in our guest Earworm, Miss Ruby Cler. Good evening, Ruby. Thank you very much for coming and joining us.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me.
No, it's a privilege.
I'm happy to be here.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. And she's recovered from her long trip away as well, so that's even better.
Yeah, I did finally get over the jet lag, and it was more than usual this trip.
It was a long journey you had. It was a long journey. So again, thank you very much to Mark and Brian for coming and joining us. Mark and Brian's going to keep an eye on the chat, and obviously, if you guys have got any questions for Ruby, I'm looking at that camera now. I'm back on this one now, so anyway, thank you very much for coming and joining us. And if you've got questions for Ruby, stick them in the chat. As always, queue before your question, and then I'm sure Mark and Brian will sort the questions out.
One thing
Try our
before you go, you get going, Steve.
Yes.
I just want to make it clear to everyone, I do not have any carrots or celery to chop up or onions.
Ah,
Damn. I knew there's a reason why. Oh dear, classic. Right, so tonight, what am I doing tonight? Something simple tonight, because as always, the live is about Ruby and not me. So I have a piece of chestnut here that came from Michael Howe. Oh, quickly before he's talking about Michael, I forgot to mention it on Sunday. Camera, that one there. Michael Howe has not been very well lately. He messaged me on, when was it? Last Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
Messaged me and said they hadn't been very well. He's had a heart condition. Anybody who's been messaging him, he hasn't replied to him, but he just wanted me to let people know that he was doing well, he's recovering, and as soon as he's fit and well, he will then be back in contact with you. So, Michael, if you're listening, mate, we wish you well and hope you get a speedy recovery. Right, so
Get better soon, buddy.
yeah, definitely. Right, so back to this. Right, piece of chestnut from Michael. It's not very big. It is just 7 3/4 inches across by about just under 2.5 inches in depth. So nice bowl, curve it, stick a bit of colour on. Being Christmas, and I know everybody enjoys Christmas. I'm going to be doing some Christmas colours on it, and I might even put a bit of glitter on it. But we'll see.
Well, Mark might even start singing Christmas carols for us.
Good luck with that one.
Fix my fly.
yeah, good luck with that, mate.
So
You're talking to the original Grinch.
So while I'm getting this ready, one of the guys will welcome everybody in the chat and let us know who's in.
Do you want to do it, Brian? Because I've only got my phone.
Oh, I've only got my phone. This means I have to try and find everybody in the chat. Oh no!
Just leave the bed up a little bit. It's a bit sticky from that resin.
Well, I can do it if you like.
I think you may because I can't get my chat open on the big screen.
I'll do it then, but I'll do it from the right. So
Good for the participants list.
I can't do that on my phone.
Oh.
Right. So we've got Wayne the Woodturner, Gerard the French Turner, Brian Watkins, Peter Corcoran, Pete from Twisted Trees, the Wood Dude, Stephen Madden, Malcolm Douglas, Douglas Mungham. We've also got Peter Corcoran, Woodworm Paul, Gav Sadeh. Hope your hand's better, Gav. Terry Bartlett from
Hope
Plymouth.
it's improving anyway.
Trevor P, Hobby Woodturner. Kaiti Shed. Spider Spit. Woodturnings by Barry. Going down a lift. David J. Heath, Guildford Carpenter. We've got James Crawford. Spirit Wind, Wood, Stone and Bone.
Heather
from Canada.
Hi, Heather.
Ivy Woodshed. Doug Miller at Woodspun Round. I know we've also got Joe Senior and Jennifer. Crafting Creations is in, otherwise known as Bailey's.
Bailey's,
Don't ask.
Bailey's.
Neil M's in. Well, I'm already on a list, so I might as well stay there. And Neil. Hodgepodge Woodworks. Hi, Robert. William Kenny. Sorry if I repeat anybody's name. I'm just having to go down all of them. Floor 60. Graham Hain. Tony Smith. List goes on.
it does.
Andy Llanethley, Posh Firewood Green. Joey's making a bowl. He's going to colour.
Steve's making a bowl. There's a surprise.
Stephen Meller.
Oh, listen at Brian.
Parkwood Turner. And I do believe got to the bottom of the list. 57 watching.
Oh, thank you very much, everybody, for coming in. And
Good evening, everybody.
Good
You've
evening.
done very well there, Mike. I
For a
don't think
beginner.
you missed too many. If we did miss something, just stick something in the chat and we'll give you a shout out.
So, seeing as you lot moan at me,
Barry
gonna-
Chitty's just come in.
I'm going to put a 10 in on this.
Good.
A 10. Good evening, Barry.
Ruby's eyebrows just went up 2 inches. Really?
A 10. A 10.
You sure it was 2 inches?
An inch and 3/4.
Okay. Hey, wait a minute.
2.5 inches.
Everywhere I went in England, it was all millimeters.
Well, I can give you millimetres if you want.
You do it, Mills, as
No,
well. You know.
I prefer you don't.
Well, there you go.
Is
2.5
that
inches.
different?
2.5 inches the blank was, deep.
Yeah, it's crying out for a tenant.
It looks like it's a fairly dry piece of wood, Steve.
Yeah, it's a piece of chestnut, so it's quite light, which I thought would be ideal for colouring, really.
Michael does have some really, really nice Cornish chestnut.
I can't say that's a wood I've ever turned.
Ironically, the piece I'm turning on Monday night is the same. Got it from Michael as well. It's a bit bigger.
So I'm just going to go for a traditional shape, nothing fancy. So, Ruby, tell us about your holiday, love. Or your trip, should we say.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. I spent 1 week in downtown London, England, at the Wizardry and Wood. Of course, 12 of the best turners in the United Kingdom were displaying their wares, such as Phil Irons, Stuart Mortimer, Colin Way, Les Thorne, and quite a few others. And then they had a lot of tables set out for the competitions, and even the ones by the junior turners were exceptionally well done. So I was sort of surprised when I won a first. Over in Canada, if you win a first, you get a ribbon. If you win in the UK, you get a whole lot more than just a ribbon. So it was it was a little overwhelming, to be honest. But I got to work with Bob Wade on a Hotzapfel lathe, an ornamental lathe that was built in 1836, about 2 years before I was born. And learned to do some really fancy patterns on it, which all you had to do was be able to count to 4.
Right. I'll be all right there.
So
Then.
even if you cut off one finger, you're okay.
Sorry, Brian, I blocked
Then,
him.
Yep, okay, mate.
then I worked on some more different machines until I went to Austria. In Austria, I got to learn how to do some of the filigree turning, which is a style that was done back in the 1800s, but very few people do anymore. And it was just nice to have something else to add to my repertoire.
Question here for you, Steve, from Douglas Mungham.
Go on then.
And I'm sure if you're not sure, I'm sure Ruby will. What's the difference between sweet chestnut and chestnut?
The taste. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I think he's right. And the other chestnut, I believe, is horse chestnut. So they have a slightly bigger nut that comes off the tree.
When the Woodturner's in the chat, he'll probably be able to answer that.
Yeah, I think so. Wayne knows everything.
Yes.
He was
Here we
about
go.
before. He was about before the trees were.
He says Douglas there, sweet chestnut is also called Spanish chestnut, and you can eat the nuts.
Yeah, because I cast a sweet
Nuts.
chestnut. I cast a sweet chestnut in resin, didn't I?
Yep. Sweet chestnut is also used as a coppice wood for making fence panels.
Well, that's good to know.
All right, so sand this up to. Oh, actually, we're going to colour it in. So 400 grit. So sand this up
And
to
what
4.
are you going to use to color it?
I was going to use the intrinsics, the Hampshire Sheen intrinsic colours,
Hmm.
because I do like the vibrance of the colours.
Yeah, they can be. They can soak in pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. Get some nice bright colours. Perhaps go for the red, green, and brown. Well, not brown's not really Christmas, I don't suppose.
Well, if you're going to go for the red, you've got to use the ruby.
Yeah.
Seems appropriate.
Do you know that every time I watch a demo and somebody starts talking about that color, it sort of annoys me?
Well done, Mark.
Or use flame then instead. Forget I said anything.
Don't be using that red colour, it's fine.
Yeah. Go with greens. Go with greens. Greens or blues.
Well, Gerard is singing to us about chestnuts roasting on an open fire. So he's all ready for Christmas, I can tell.
Good man, Jared.
Jennifer's saying that she managed to get a lovely piece of Ruby's creation from the Wood Wizardry show.
Wow.
Yeah, I did get to meet her in person, and she's a very lovely person.
Did you have a bottle of Bailey's in her hand when you met her, Ruby?
No,
No?
Oh,
No.
that's unusual.
I don't
That's
think she'd
unusual.
have been allowed. I don't think she'd have been allowed in with it.
Did she have a bottle of orange squash? We learned a little thing about Jennifer when we went away to the Scarborough get-together, the Yorkshire. She does like her Baileys.
Oh, Woodworker Learner has noticed that I've got a special pair of nuts earworming with me tonight.
Ah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you have.
wonder what gives him that impression.
Right. So we're going to sand this up to 400 grit.
Pete's added a little bit to the debate about the sweet chestnut and horse chestnut. He says typical horse chestnut grows bigger, with trunk pieces getting up to 4 feet in diameter or more.
That's a big piece of wood.
Yep.
But don't eat horse chestnuts, although you can wash your clothes in them.
Mhm.
Aren't they? Yeah,
I
horse,
think
Yeah,
horse
that
chestnuts.
big lump of wood that Pete gave me is chestnut, I believe. I think.
Wayne has indicated that the horse chestnut is a softer wood. So we'll find out as you turn how soft it is.
Jennifer's already threatening me.
Yeah,
Steve,
watch
can you bring
it,
us back
Beckett.
on camera?
Hang on a second.
Look what I've got.
Ooh, Beckett.
Look what I've got.
Jennifer.
Oh, dear.
You know, the plain Baileys over ice cubes is quite nice as is.
It is. I agree.
That's the salted caramel one there. That's for
Better.
Christmas.
Better still, my wife would agree as well. Michelle's quite partial to her Baileys or 6.
You're not showing a very good picture of her, Brian.
Well, was there something wrong with the picture I'm painting?
Right, last one, 400 grit.
Oh, poor Gerard's back to work on St. Stephen's Day. That's what they call Boxing Day in Ireland. And other places, I'm sure, but we call it Boxing Day.
Yeah, we call it Boxing Day as well.
Right, so sanded the 400 grit. Not worried about this bit in here too much because we're going to flatten that out anyway.
The Baileys connoisseur has decided that salted caramel is disgusting. So you know where you can keep that bottle, Mark.
Yep. She also goes on to say she doesn't drink anymore Yeah, right.
That doesn't mean to say she drinks any less.
Yeah. Right, let's get some gloves.
Michael McEwen's in. Good evening, Michael.
Good
Hi,
evening, Michael.
So have you learnt a lot on your travels this time, Ruby?
Pardon?
You learned a lot on your travels this time.
I certainly did.
Good.
I learned that people in England don't speak English, and I learned that people in Germany don't speak German.
Right, so let's have a little bit of honey.
She learned that Pete from Twisted Trees is extremely tall.
Definitely, and I also
Slightly
learned
taller.
that Mark and Terry and Pete all give really great hugs.
Yeah, they do,
And
don't they, Ruby?
And you don't even have to be a tree to get hugged.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right, so colours. Colours. So I have here,
Don't use Ruby. Don't use Ruby.
I have honey, forest green, flame red, and the other red.
And the other red.
The other red.
Well, flame is actually not red.
Well, as long as you don't mix the green and the red, you'll do okay.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of a mess if I do that.
Yeah,
you
you'll
can't
you'll come out with a lovely brown.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that board. I don't know why I took that board off then. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the whole thing in honey, and then we'll patch over the top of it. Just dob it. So honey.
Is that a technical expression?
Yeah, dob it.
Dob.
So
You just dob it.
intrinsic. Does that look clear or is that a bit fuzzy?
That's fine.
That's
Oh, it looks good.
well, the picture's okay.
Nobody's looking at the bowl anyway. They're looking at the witch.
Yeah, the little witch peeking over the corner. Right, so
Still-
cover the whole
still
thing in honey. I put it there just to keep Ben on his toes.
Horrifies me, that witch.
You wait till it start blinking. Right,
So why are you covering the whole thing in honey? Why not just the part that you want to come up that color?
because I'm then going to just gently sand it back so the honey stays in the grain. So any part that I don't colour will just get that hint of yellow through.
We'll have a
Okay.
highlight of honey.
And what grit will you sand it back with?
I will sand it from 240 up to 4. Well, depending on how much yellow I want out of it. I may go from, I reckon 240 up to 400, just light, quick passes. But I want this to soak into the grain because the grain's quite soft. I want it to soak into it.
Wayne the Woodturner said go with black first, sand it back.
Yeah, but I was thinking that, but I didn't want it that. I don't want it really dark, but we'll see what this comes out like. It's all trial, isn't it?
Give it a try. Give it a try.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Jennifer said she's been banned from drinking.
Oh. Right, so just quickly dry this with the hot air gun.
Oh, look, Nikki's joined us. Good
Actually,
evening, Nikki.
she was looking after
Hi,
the
Nikki.
she was looking after the gremlins.
The gremlins.
Sorry, Nikki, I'm not cutting up any carrots or onions or anything for you.
Hi, Nikki. Just messaged you, darling.
Oh, you're such a creep, Beckett.
No. She was asking a legitimate question. She was asking why you and I got rid of somebody because they were a spammer.
Spamming. Yep.
Spamming.
Spammer. He's been on that same profile's been on 3 or 4 accounts just off late.
Yep. We had one in Wayne's live today as well.
Yep.
That time of year, the spammers are around.
Pick your feet up, Stephen.
Well,
Not none
Pete
of us.
says he's also been banned from many things. Mostly, he forgets that he's banned in an hour or less.
Yes. Makes good sense.
That's a good attitude.
Right, just quickly
Yeah,
sand
Nicky
this.
Boys, the
says-
boys. Hello, Roy.
Hi, Roy, how you doing, bud?
Steve, Nicky says they can hear. They're playing a board game.
Oh, blimey, cover.
Oops.
Stop. Watch out.
They know I
Ben's in.
call it. They know I call them gremlins.
Oh, that's all right.
Ben's in.
Hi, Ben.
Evening, Ben.
Hi,
Give
Ben.
yourself, Ben. The witch is looking. The witch has her beady eyes on you.
So that's 240. Just quick passes. I don't want to take too much of this off.
Pete from Twisted Trees has put a hashtag in. Everything Nicky wants for Nicky.
Thanks, Pete, for that. You know,
Flowers,
Yeah, that was in
bracelet,
response to
necklace, earrings,
yeah.
extension,
diamonds.
diamonds, the
Uh,
kitchen roll holder. There was something else as well.
Shh, I'm doing that for Christmas for her.
That's that was after Douglas put in toilet seat for Nicky.
Toilet seat. She's got one. She
Yeah.
don't need another one.
Jigsy's shed is in. Hi, Jigsy.
I'm
Hello,
not
mate,
sure
how you
about
doing?
that one either, Steve, but that's what he said.
And Rob from Copperell Woodturning's in.
Hi, Rob.
Evening, Rob and Jigsy.
Right, so as you can see, I've only just taken the top of that, the brightness of that out. So now,
Jigsy's on, by the way. For those of you that don't know.
Actually, Woodwork Learner makes a fair point.
I've just seen
Steve.
that.
Steve won't use black after having to repaint his wall. Literally within 10 minutes of his live ending, he was painting it again.
I'm not sure it even took 10 minutes.
It was very funny, actually.
Oh,
We were having a little hangout, weren't we? And Brian and I were there going, Steve, what are you doing? I'm painting my wall. Seriously? Got black paint on it.
Hoovered up
painted
really
it.
quickly and then got the paint out.
Now, which red is this you're using?
This is flame.
Chicken.
You lie teller.
It is, look, flame, red, flame.
Shows the ball.
Eh, flame, red, flame.
What's the other one?
Unmentionable red.
Okay.
The unmentionable red. The never to be named again
Precious.
red.
Precious stone red.
Right, so keep that cloth. We might need that. I'm not going to try and blend these colours too much.
It's starting to look like a scene from Kill Bill.
Nikki says, oh yeah, anything for the beep workshop.
So she got a prize, right?
And the beep started with the B. I think you could be in trouble this evening, Steve.
Oh, there's a surprise. Were you lot about? There's any surprise?
That label was really hard to read.
I'm glad to hear that.
Nikki said something about not fitting the toilet seat, which has been sitting there for ages.
It has.
Discuss.
But she knows why it hasn't been fit. Because the toilet we have in our bathroom, you have to take the whole toilet out to fit a seat to it.
Oh, dear. So what you get for buying a complex toilet.
Right, it's like November the 5th. Light the fuse, run away.
Just stand back and watch it smoulder.
Wipe the blue touch paper and retire to safe distance.
Right, so I'm going to sand that back again. Dry it. sand
Benjamin
it.
says it's a beautiful workshop.
Thank you, Ben.
Well, it is. It's all pristine and white. It's almost surgical.
Surgical.
Right now, you can hardly see any of it, just one little corner.
Yeah, this is true. Don't ask for the tour, Ruby.
No, you don't want to.
Yes, you do, Ruby.
Right now, having added a seventh lathe to my basement, I don't have wiggle room.
7 lathes.
As well, you're not too big, Ruby. That's all I can say. 7 lathes in your basement. Is there room for a grand piano?
There isn't room for a baby one.
So do you have like a bowl lathe, a spindle lathe, hollowing lathe, a pen lathe,
Lathe.
polishing lathe.
Well, you could assign those topics to each one. But like my big lathes will do any of them. I do have one real mini lathe that'll do pens and up to an 8-inch bowl. The mid-sized lathes will do 12 to 14 inches. The Powermatic will do up to 20. And if I pull the ways out on the stubby, I could do a 36-inch bowl if I had to
Nice.
over the bed.
36-inch ball.
36 over the bed.
I have pulled the bed ways.
Yeah, the ways pull outward,
Separate, yeah.
and then you've got this great big hole there.
Blimey.
But honestly, you very rarely get calls for bowls bigger than 16 inches.
That's right. Need to be a big hotel or somewhere that was looking for a giant size bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
Rob for Copper Woodturning says, that's my kind of basement. That'd be my kind of basement too.
No, right now it's a little overcrowded. I moved 2 of my sanders out to the garage to make some room, and still not enough room.
You can never have enough workshop room.
True.
Right. Forest green.
If you
Go on, sorry, Ruby.
okay,
Done it. Thank you for that.
So what I've done is I've just crunched the tissue paper up now, so give me a bit of texture.
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, sorry, I've done it. Thank you, folks. As soon as they rear their ugly heads, we'll pop them off.
I think from all the comments, what you're going to have to do, Steve, is go with a North American toilet. They're very easy to install.
The trouble is, Ruby, my daughters don't sit still on the toilet, so the seat comes loose. And
Well, haven't you put in seat belts?
seat belts. I need something. I need something. I mean, I reckon a taser each side, so when they touch the sides, they get a shock of it. That's what I reckon. So I'm hoping the green looks like leaves on it. That's what I'm hoping.
Lawrence Bigage is in. Hi, Lawrence.
Hi,
Hey,
Lawrence.
Hi, Lawrence.
So I might just put a little bit more red. If you dry that off, put a little bit of red over that.
Jarman says, you deserve someone better, Nicky, to be honest.
He might be suggesting himself, you know, Brian.
Well, he could be. He could be.
I bet she won't disagree.
Yeah, I would hesitate to guess and say
see.
she won't.
Laughing.
You know, with friends like you.
You don't need enemies.
Exactly.
Yes, Paul, that's what's going to happen just shortly. So I'd be careful if I was you.
Right,
Or Andy, should I say.
Right, so what are we going to go for now? A little bit of flame, I think. And I'm going to do the same, just crunch up the tissue.
Can't be the other one.
Now these might not look very
Go
bright,
ahead.
but when we get the sand and the sealer, the colours will stand out a bit better.
Go ahead and call it by its proper name.
What, dark red?
Dark red.
Yes.
Oh, apparently you will be doing it over Christmas while you're off work.
I will. I've already said that. So you lot can stir as much as you like.
Oh, so you've only
Oh,
2 weeks to
Terry.
wait then, Nicky, for a 5-minute job. to
Hey,
be done.
Brian, she's waited 3 months, so another 2 weeks
Oh,
is
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Won't do her any harm then, will it?
No. All good things come to those who wait. I've been telling that for years.
Terry suggests that you leave the seat off, Steve, and let them sit on the cold china.
Wayne the Woodturner's just spoiled my fun because he's reminded you to make sure you mark the tenon with a tailstock center.
Yeah.
Wayne.
There is actually a little tiny bobble on there, but I will do, Wayne. Thank you, Wayne.
Mickey suggests that Steve's sits on the toilet longest.
That's too right. That's the only place I get peace and quiet. Well, actually, I don't now. Hammer on the door. How long are you going to be, Dad? Dad, how long are you going to be?
It's bad.
It is.
Can't even go to the toilet in peace.
That's right. That's why I get up so early, Brian.
Yeah, indeed, aye. To make sure you can get in it with 3 women in the house.
Don't forget, folks, if you've got any questions for Ruby, drop them in the chat and we'll read them out to her. It's a good opportunity to get to know the legend that is Ruby Cler.
The legend.
The legend.
The legend, a living legend.
The legend.
I was going to say, you're really making me feel older and older each minute, Mark.
You can be a young legend.
No, most legends are 1 foot in the grave.
Well, that's definitely not you.
Or actually in it.
That's true too, Brian.
Right.
But you're nowhere near there, Ruby. Nowhere near.
So I'm actually going to, because I don't want to separate, I don't want to blend the colours on this, I'm actually going to spray this with sand and sealer.
Ooh.
Are you using acrylic-based sanding sealer?
No, this is cellulose, this one, because it dries a bit quicker, Ruby.
Several suggestions for you to put a toilet in the workshop.
No, I ain't got space for a toilet. Oh, sorry, I got a spade.
Oh, you're fine then.
Hodgepodge has asked a question for you, Ruby. Have you ever done metal spinning on the lathe?
Yes, I did that back about the mid-'80s. We actually had a fellow come up to a club and demonstrate it. And then the second day we had a hands-on where we made our tools and then made like a small bowl and spun the metal onto the bowl form that we had created. It was quite interesting to do.
I think Wayne the Woodturner has just proved Ruby's point and said, I'm a legend in my own living room.
I'll have to think on that one.
So I'm going to give this a couple of coats of sand and sealer.
Nikki says she'd like you to gradually get a sink, then a toilet, then you can move into the workshop completely.
I don't need a sink and a toilet moving there.
It's true, you've got a coffee machine.
I have got
I
a coffee machine.
I thought you said it most of the time anyway.
I am, Brian, I am. You know, a woman would be happy if their husband was never in the house, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
You just can't please some people.
Ruby's just put her hand up.
Yeah, then I wouldn't have to repair anything. You know, Steve, they do make porta-johns, little portable ones that you could put it right in your shop.
We used to have one when we used to go camping. We used to have a little porta toilet for the kids at night time. So yeah,
I have one up at the yard. Little chemical toilet. Good job. The bit of a pain to empty it, like, but
Insure was the one we had. I had to get on my knees to pee in it because it was so low.
yeah. They are a bit close to the ground right now.
Well, Hodge is saying that for men, the sink is basically a toilet half the time.
Oh, Robert.
I would think that's only for the tall, giant-sized men.
Yeah.
Mark, Pete. Right. Final
Question
code.
there.
For the
Then it'd be
short
over
ones
6
who
feet.
are over-endowed.
Question there for you, Ruby, from Douglas Mungham.
What got me started in wood turning? Well, actually, I was a wood carver before I was a turner. And one of the chaps in a club that we had here passed away, so I went over to buy some of his tools to help his wife get rid of them. And he had a small lathe there, so I gave her $100 for it. My husband said to me, "But you don't even know how to use one." And I said, "No, but I can learn." Well, this thing, to say it was primitive would be an understatement. But I did make a few little things on it. And then I finally tracked down a fellow who was turning, and I paid him. Now, this is going back a number of years ago, $100 a day to teach me how to turn. And he kind of got tired of me showing up every Saturday and Sunday. And he finally said, "Look, instead of paying me, why don't you rough out bowls for me? He keeps the balls, and I get the experience." And it was really good because when I started out, it'd probably take me all day to do one bowl. By the time we were finished, we were putting out like 20, 30 bowls in a day.
Nice.
And I got to use all kinds of woods, do different shapes. Then it was during that time period I learned how to hollow. And of course, when we went and collected some wood, I managed to bring some home as well. And after that, I just said to heck with it and bought my Powermatic. And there was a question there, what's the biggest piece I've done?
From Jennifer.
Biggest piece I've done was about 20 inches in diameter, and it was 7 feet long. And I remembered from a conversation I had with Nick Cook about how he dealt with the problem of having a piece of wood that was way too big for his lathe. And so I took his suggestion, and one of my students had a Powermatic as well. And what we did was we put the two beds together. We used both tool rests and took 6 guys in a forklift and a chainfall to get the wood up on the lathe because it was about 600 pounds. And to say that we all stood back when I turned it on would be an understatement.
I would say.
You know, that thing probably turned as steady and true as anything I've ever put on the lathe.
Probably because you took more extra care with it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. The corners on it, I cut with a skill saw first at 45 degrees to get as much excess off as possible. And I had a spindle roughing gouge that was 3 inches in width. And that, it was still like a toothpick compared to this piece of wood. And it was a trunnion jig for a bridge.
All right. Bill Navar's joined from Atlanta in Georgia.
Oh,
Hey, Bill.
cool.
Welcome along.
So I just put some gold embellishing wax on there to enhance the grain. So let's just buff that off.
Now that chestnut had a fairly open grain, something like an ash.
Yeah, ash has got a good grain. We'll see what comes out
Yes,
like.
woodwork learner. The biggest piece I did was about peat size.
Peat size.
Yeah. I love the way she casually threw. You just casually threw in. It was 7 feet long. I'm like, what?
So you can just, that light's a bit close. That's better. Over there.
Yeah, but see, you guys have learned something without realizing it, because in this conversation, I told you how I learned how to deal with it by a conversation I had with Nick Cook. And you may one day run into a situation where you have to turn a piece that's twice as long as your lathe can handle.
It's a big piece.
So I have to borrow somebody else's lathe.
So you can just see the embellishing wax has just enhanced that grain.
Yep.
Just to give it a little bit of bring it to life a little bit. So we're just going to buff that up a bit better. Not going to put no wax over that because the wax will get in the grain and go a funny colour. So we want the embellishing wax to stay vibrant.
Looks quite good. It's got a nice rich color to it.
So there's the colouring. Let's get it out. And
Looks very nice, Steve.
thank you, Brian.
That's it.
Yeah, it looks lovely. Really
So-
nice.
There's a bit of depth to it.
So as you can see, just sanding it back gives you different variations in the same colours. Because as you sand it back, obviously it gets lighter. So we've got, you can just see the yellow coming through in some places, and then the green. And then we did 2 layers. We did the ruby red and the flame red. Oops, the deep red and the flame red. Sanded them back, and then we went over the top with the 2 reds again and the green. So you got those, you got the different depths of red. So it just sort of brings it alive a little bit.
The 2 reds. The flame and
reds.
the other colour that we're not allowed to mention.
That's the ones. So we just got to hope now that I've not done the tenon.
We'll have to call this the Canadian colour. You know, a bit like you do with the Scottish play. You're not allowed to call it by its name.
So
Oh, well, when you mentioned Scots, it makes me think of a email I received today. And the headline of the email was that the Scottish version of COVID has arrived. When you click on the picture, it's a COVID in the shape of bagpipes.
right, so
Very. That was very good.
let's get this hogged out then. We don't need that
Douglas
one.
Mullins asking another. Douglas Mullins asked you another question there, Ruby. Is there anything you would change in your turning time?
Depend on what he means by change. You know, like obviously, like everyone else, I would like I'd like a much bigger shop with more space and everything laid out. That would probably be the biggest difference in what I would do. And if he's referring to my time turning, I would have tried to take a whole lot more classes a lot sooner, or wish they had been available.
Yeah.
And my thoughts on coarse burrs versus fine burrs for scraping, I think that comes down to personal preference and your technique for using the burrs. Are you turning the tool on its side at a 45 and doing more of a cut with it? Or are you presenting it square to the wood? You have to kind of experiment with that and find what works best for you. I know some people who take the burr off entirely, and I just use it the way it comes off the grinder.
I always say the more tool time you can get, the better. Because you then get the hang of your tools. You know how the feeling is, and you get a bit better control.
The only downside of practice is that practice makes permanent. It doesn't make anything perfect.
Right.
The only thing that makes something perfect is perfect practice. So when Ruby said about wanting to go back with, she was going to do something over again, she might take more lessons. That's maybe a good message for everybody.
Yeah.
To take more lessons from a skilled professional. It doesn't have to be a registered turner, but certainly a skilled person. So you can learn better technique.
I'm glad you qualified that, Brian, because there are a lot of people out there teaching whom I would definitely not recommend taking a lesson from. And a few of those people, I'm not going to mention their name in a live program, are people who are supposedly professionals recognized in the field. I just personally feel some of the things they promote are not safe, and they lack proper shape and form, because you can have a really beautiful piece of wood, but if the shape and form is not correct,
Yep.
the piece will never look good.
True.
On the other hand, you can have a real crappy piece of wood that has nothing to it, but if the shape and form are really nice and spot on, it can look gorgeous.
All right, so just got a little bit of
Ben,
what's he said.
Brian, do you mean like an approved tutor? Who do we know that's an approved tutor?
I have no idea. I don't know anybody who's an approved tutor.
Not
Someone
Well,
with
you
a
have
badge.
to look at their jackets to see if
Yeah.
they have the insignia that approves them.
See if they have a patch.
Pete's an approved tutor.
Yep, yes indeed.
Terry is as well, but he's not here, so we can't talk about him.
Terry's not here. Where is the man? Don't tell me he's gone shopping with Ruth.
No, he's at a 50th
No, he's-
birthday party tonight.
That's correct.
All right.
He told us about 100 times.
Pete's saying that
Why
he
not,
doesn't.
Sorry,
Pete's
Ruby.
saying he doesn't think he could bolt a couple of lathes together in his shop. And
Uh,
having been in his shop, I think he's absolutely right.
It would take a bit of
I
a
think
remodel.
I think we need to put an extension on his shop and make it about 4 times as large.
you need to take up his whole garden, basically. He's got
Yeah.
a big garden.
Hi, Lionel.
Hi, Lionel.
Evening, Lionel.
Just sharpen this short or
Oh,
gold
I
gouge.
know.
Have you still not got a sharpening cam, Steve?
No, not yet, Brian. People don't want
Oh,
to see me sharpen gouges up, do they?
That's the second time I've said that to you.
People know how to
Okay.
sharpen a gouge, I'm sure.
Now, what sort of thickness are you going to leave the wall on this bowl?
8 mil, maybe a little bit less.
Go on, Ruby, tell him off.
What?
I'm not going to tell him off.
Go
Why?
on, Ruby.
Why?
Is it?
If he told me he was going to take it down to 2 mil, yeah, I'd tell him off then. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't see the point in going to all this work to make a 2 mil bowl that the first time somebody drops it, it cracks and breaks.
I agree.
You know, if you want to turn an eggshell thick bowl and just to be able to say, okay, look here, I can do it, that's fine. But you have to be a little practical about how the piece is going to be used afterwards. The only thing Steve hasn't done that I'd have done a couple times already is check my depth.
I'm going to finish this off and I will check the depth. Still got a bit of meat in the bottom.
Gerard, the French turner,
He's
suggested
got previous for that.
he has, aye. But so have you. Come and think of that.
Oh, nice comeback, Brian. Nice comeback.
Gerard has suggested that I've asked the kids to give me a present of tuition for Christmas, which is a good idea.
Yeah, I must admit, I would like more professional lessons.
Seriously toying with the idea of go and spend a few days with Glenn Lucas.
So
Might
we
be
have
Interesting experience
that will do. That will do. Now all of
in
that
the
is
summertime.
spot on 8 mil. That was a good guess, wasn't
You'd wonder that from a joiner.
it? Right, so let's sand it up. I'm not going to leave the inside natural. So
Bill suggests they can only drop it after they paid for it.
Pete, if I'd known you didn't know how to check your depth, I'd have taught you when I was at your place.
He does, Ruby. He's just having a pop at me.
He's still
Right,
waiting for.
Brian,
He's still waiting for a depth
Or
gauge.
Steve. Steve, could you highlight me for a minute?
yes, of course I can, Ruby.
Okay, William Kenny
Oh, hang
asked,
on,
what's the
hang on.
proudest?
Hold on.
Hang on. Why are you so small?
I don't know.
That's a very personal question.
Takes the picture a long time to come from Canada.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
Shrinking as it
true.
gets here.
There you go, Ruby. There you go.
Okay.
William Kenny was the one who asked the question, Ruby.
Yep, he asked the proudest piece that I've turned. Okay, believe it or not, it's this little piece right here.
Oh wow.
Look at that. That's pretty
It's a
impressive.
box. It's been hollowed out with a spindle gouge and a hollowing tool I made from an Allen key. It's got the pigtail twist on it and the unicorn finial on the top.
Nice.
And it was a challenge. It was a challenge to get this one right.
I felt that piece, and it's gorgeous.
So
That's nice.
And the pigtail twist intrigues me.
Yeah, it's amazing. Ruby, Spirit Wind, Woodstone and Bone, who I believe also lives in Canada. So she's not sure if there are any turning lessons around where she is, but she could definitely use them. Whereabouts in Canada are you? Oh, Ontario.
I'm in Windsor, Ontario. It's the most southern point in Ontario.
Heather is in Ontario.
If she messages me,
Ben, behave yourself.
They are a bit, aren't they, Ben?
if she lets me sends me a message or emails me, then what I can do is I can probably find someone close to her to recommend.
She's in
Or
Muskoka.
we might be able to hook up sometime.
She's in Muskoka, Ontario.
Oh, there's several really good turners up that way, and several clubs as well.
Nikki's asking, who would you like lessons with, Steve?
If you're paying, Nick, Ruby.
A trip to Canada in the offing.
Now, what on earth do you think I could possibly teach you that you don't already know?
Hey, Ruby, all you got to look is the piece you just held up. There's no more questions, no more.
It's just a box. You've done
Heather
boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
not.
It's a box with a swirly pigtail on it.
Right, so sign this up to 240, then we'll use the old Yorkshire grit on it.
Woodworm Paul, Jim Sprague rings a bell, but I can't place him. I think he's 2 or 3 hours north of me.
He's in Petawawa. I think that's how you say it.
Okay, Petawawa. He's about 5 hours away from me. Heather, if you want, one of these days we can get together, or I can recommend, like I said, send me an email and I'll recommend some people that are closer up your way. Hopefully, they were actually talking about next fall. We might be able to get to have a live wood show, which would be fantastic because it's been 3 years now since we've had one.
Heather, I've got to say, if you have the opportunity to have a hands-on lesson with Ruby, do it.
Jump at it.
I had the pleasure of some instruction from Ruby earlier this year for a couple of hours. It was brilliant.
He didn't listen, mind you, but it was good.
Didn't improve his turning, but
Now you were aware that I hired Mark as my personal marketing agent too.
Well, you are kind of my boss now.
Right, so sand and sealer. Chestnut sand and sealer. Pre-finned with cellulose sand and cellulose thinners. 60-40.
Will Duggan's saying hello, Ruby.
Yes, I talked to Will earlier. He watched Theo's live the other night, and I was earworming for Theo out of Australia. Now, if you want to watch a very good demonstrator who actually teaches how to turn as well, Theo does do a fairly good job. He's totally different than most turners. In fact, I think he does a better job than I do.
If you want to watch a really good demonstrator who really teaches well, watch Theo. Don't watch Steve.
I'm not trying to take away from what Steve's doing at all.
I'm not a demonstrator. I'm just here to make up the numbers.
Yeah, no, Steve has a very different style of turning, and it's not wrong by any means. But Theo kind of goes overboard on showing exactly how he presents the tool to the wood and makes the cut.
Which,
and he's more of a teacher than a straight demonstrator.
Which, in my eyes, if I did that, would be hypocritical because I'm nowhere near the standard of someone like Theo. So, if I was trying to teach somebody how, okay, I can show basics, but I can't show to the extent of what some of the other turners show. If I did that and somebody had an accident or presented a drawing and got some nasty catches, then it wouldn't make very good for me, would it? So that's why
you can teach to the level that you're comfortable teaching to.
I totally agree, Mark. But
people would still appreciate the help to get them to that stage.
Well, yeah, I totally agree on that.
Then they could move on.
Right, so Yorkshire grit, original, just on the inside. This should take us up to a nice, comfortable, round about 1,000 grit.
Who's singing then, Brian?
It's got a nice yellow to that. Got a nice bit of yellow to that wood.
I'm just looking at a question from Gerard there. He says, "Are you doing a demo for the Woodturning 360 Club, Ruby? At some stage."
Is that a question for?
I think that's a question for you, Ruby. Have you been asked?
No, I'm not doing any demos. In fact, Tuesday I'm doing a virtual demo for the Kawartha woodturners in Ontario. They're east of Toronto. I've seen Woodworker Learner asks if I've seen Colin's work, and Colin's work is phenomenal. And you see it in person, it looks even better than it does on a screen. And he's a very good demonstrator. He explains what he's doing very well. He's another person that you could go to for lessons and learn quite a bit. And he does a wide variety of subject matter as well. So.
Yep.
So Wayne's suggesting that when he does lives on YouTube, it's totally different to when he does a live demo to a club or whatever, and when he teaches, it's a totally different sort of.
Yeah, it's a different format because the purpose of what you're doing is to a different audience. Like,
that's correct.
Whether you're there to teach as a teacher or you're there to demonstrate as an entertainer.
Yep.
I'm not going to read that out, Ben, but I'm going to let Steve read it himself.
What's that?
Comment from Ben under Wayne's.
He says you might not be the best turner, but you're an all right entertainer.
Oh, thanks, Ben.
News for you, Ben. Steve's a better turner than you give him credit for.
Ouch. The trouble is, like we've always said on lives, you're limited to what you can do in an hour and a half. So, like anybody who does YouTube, if you're in the workshop on your own and you've got 4 hours to spare, you can take your time. You can make better cuts. You can do this. You can do that, and I'm the worst culprit because if I'm in there on my own, I don't care how long it takes me. But obviously on a live, you're in a different mode, and you know you've only got, well, you haven't got an hour and a half, but unlike a lot of the guys, we don't like to go above an hour and a half because if I watch a live for an hour and a half, I start getting fed up of it. So
Well, I think what a lot of people don't realize too is how challenging and difficult it is to do a different program even just once a week.
Yep.
Like getting the wood prepared, coming up with the idea and deciding what it is you're going to make and do. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes on before the show starts.
definitely.
Like even just doing the equipment check, making the sound check, checking all your lights, your batteries, making sure that everything is in working order.
But we do it because we enjoy it.
That's the only reason I do YouTube, is because I have fun doing it.
Yeah, and I've always said as soon as the day I stop enjoying it, the day I stop. Because I'm never going to make a living out of it. So
Well, hopefully that's not going to be for a long, long time.
let's hope so. I totally, hopefully. Well, it's my stress relief, so.
Well, you know, interestingly enough, wood turning is a great stress reliever for most people. I had two students who came to me. One was, well, he introduced himself as a psychotic, and the other one had a little dog. He was a big man with a little dog tucked under his arm, and he was very stressed out by everything, and he had anxiety disorder. And both of those men, after they learned how to turn, were able to get almost entirely off their medication because the wood turning relaxed them that much.
Woodturn has taught me how to process projects better. Before I started wood turning, if I was doing a big project, I used to fluster. But now I sort of just take it in my stride, and that's helped me process how to do things a bit better. So it's helped me that way for sure. Right, Hampshire Sheen High Gloss Wax.
The sheer act of turning engages your brain in a specific topic and stops it wandering all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
That helps you to be calmer.
Oh, it helps me. That's for sure.
That's what I find when I teach people who are a bit challenged with horses and stuff. If you can get them to interact completely with the horse, and they have to focus more, it helps them to calm their mind.
Yep.
Right, so is that camera clear or is that blurry? Was that my
No,
eye?
it's clear. No, it's
Clear,
fine.
mate. Fine.
Right, let's just buff. I'm going to put.
Really good.
Whoops. Hold the tissue helps. So just buff this off. I'm going to give this a couple of coats of eye gloss.
Yeah, I agree with Wayne too. Doing 3 a week would be a disaster. I couldn't manage 3 a week.
2's enough.
2's plenty. One's enough.
I can barely manage one a fortnight.
Well, Pete makes a good point. The reality is, if you take up wood turning, you can no longer afford the meds.
No, this is true, Pete.
Right, so give us another coat. I'm going to give us a couple of free coats of this.
One thing I'd highly recommend to people is that if you can join a club, and most clubs have mentors, or they'll bring in visiting demonstrators, and then have a day's hands-on with that person, and try and take those hands-on as much as you can. Or if the club has a skills day where they're teaching specific skills, then do that.
It's always nice to watch other people for their techniques as well, because it's always nice. You can always pick something up.
And you add it to your reservoir of knowledge, and eventually it starts getting a little fuller.
Right, so that's 2 coats. That will do. Get rid of that.
Philip Clements has just joined us.
Right, Philip.
Good morning, he says.
Right, so let's get rid of the nub on the back.
Woodwork Learner's made a good point there that I want to. He says, due to health and practical constraints, you can only get about 90 minutes of lathe time a week in the winter. Plus the fact he's still, I bet you not, but he says, plus the fact he's still useless. That means he gets very little done. When I first started doing wood turning, I couldn't stand at the lathe for more than about 45 minutes. And just because I've persevered and practiced and been encouraged by people like Wayne, Ruby, Steve, Brian, Terry, Pete, and all the other YouTubers, I've managed to build my strength to the point where now, one day this week, I did 11 hours solid at the lathe. 11 hours solid turning. With breaks here and there, but I was stood turning for 11 hours. And I put that down purely to wood turning has helped me build my strength.
Well, I noticed even since I first met you, Mark, the one thing it's done as well is helped your voice come back quite a bit.
Has.
Yeah,
I mean,
it has. When I first started, it was a bit ropey. Still is sometimes, but
Yeah, it's fine, Mark.
it is stronger now.
The only trouble is we can hear what he's saying now. It was better when he was a bit quieter. He knows I love him, really.
I'm
Right.
just fine. There's a problem that Gerard's kind of highlighted there. He says there's a club in Cork, but it's getting in is very difficult. It's all about politics,
Yeah.
and it's run by an old fart.
My local club's a bit like that, Gerard.
Most clubs are run by old farts because the young ones can't be bothered.
That's true. I don't want to take the responsibility, but some of the clubs that I have come across can be a bit sort of clannish, if you like. If you're not actually in the club, it's kind of hard to get in there. Yeah, but cliquey, yeah.
Now, see,
always the boys asking, what did I make? Too many things, lots of them.
Loads of snowmen and gonks.
Snowmen, Christmas trees, gonks, goblets, wands. What else did I do? Something else. Can't remember.
All sorts of things for his
craft fair tomorrow, yeah.
Craft fair tomorrow.
I did make 32 snowmen in one go.
If you're anywhere near, is it Bideford?
Bideford, yep.
If you're anywhere near Bideford tomorrow, pop along and see Mark.
I don't think there's, except for Katie, Cornish maid who's just popped in, I don't think there's anybody else in the chat who's local.
But it doesn't hurt to tell everybody because they may know somebody who lives close by.
9 till 1 at the Big Sheep, Bideford.
And just to remind everybody, at the top of the chat, there's a pinned link for the crowdfunding page for the Makers Auction. We're currently sitting on £321, guys. Huge big thanks to everybody who has contributed so far.
Well done, everybody.
It's great.
That's brilliant.
And we haven't even had the auction yet. This is brilliant.
No, that's all on raffle tickets and donations.
Yep.
So
It's fabulous, guys. Thank you very much for participating and joining in.
Like I say,
Always
guys,
a boy wants to know, what's your local club, Steve?
Kings Lynn. But Kings Lynn is my local club, but I don't know if they're back yet. I've been messaging them or emailing them for weeks, and I've had no reply from the chair or whatever you want to call them.
Secretary.
Yeah, so they're open every second Thursday of the month, and I thought that was next Thursday, but it's not. It's the Thursday just gone, so I missed it. So it's going to be after Christmas now, but I really want to be part of the club.
Yeah.
So,
well, the club that used to exist in Northern Ireland was affiliated to it was called the Ulster chapter of the Irish Woodworkers Association, but they're no longer affiliated now, so it's kind of fallen apart. There also used to be a county down version, but that's fallen apart as well because there's not enough turners to maintain the club. So we haven't got one currently, locally, at all.
well, I did join a club. Well, I didn't join. I went, and They weren't very pleasant. Let's put it that way. So I decided.
That's what happened to me with the wood tunnels.
So I had the attitude like was, well, you know, up yours. I'm on my way. Bye. I haven't been back since, so I should go back. Really, I don't know if I put these in the right one. I think I should have gone one out. Oh, for goodness sake, Stephen.
No, yeah, put them in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Happens every time. Every time.
You think they'd put sizes on these, wouldn't you? So you can measure. You can put your measure your bowl.
You think a good wood turner would actually write them on it?
Yeah, well, this
I
is
think
this good word turner has only used this 3 times.
Pete from Twisted Trees, I think, in the past has made the very handy tip with these, drawing different coloured circles to line up with the different holes.
That might be what's going to happen.
You could. You could also number them, like 6 inch, 8 inch, 10 inch, whatever it goes up to.
I'm going to actually. Well, it says it goes from. No, it doesn't say anything. Maximum speed 600 RPM. That's what it says on it.
Yep. 600 for the big ones, 800 for the small ones.
See, the Axminster ones, the small ones, are up to 1,000.
800 for the record player ones.
You realize you could also make yourself a donut chuck.
Yeah, I could. That might be the option, Ruby.
They're not very hard to make if an old lady like me can make one.
Old lady.
They go together fairly quick. They go together fairly quickly, and I find they hold better as well.
You could use a pressure plate as well, of course.
See, Ben, professional earworm, mate.
The only thing is you have to be careful because if you take them somewhere, somehow or another they disappear on you.
It's only a few nuts and bolts, isn't it?
Katie says she's made 2 secret compartment key rings now, so she's going to be taking over Chris's workshop soon. Good lass, get on with it. You still doing those pull cuts?
Tell them to build her own.
Katie's had lessons from me.
William Kenny says no club near me that I know of, and I don't know any turners near me. You guys are my club.
Oh, bless.
Oh.
The WT360 is a good thing too, guys. It's a sort of
it is.
It's
That's some good demos and all.
It's a web-based club, and it has members from. It's called WT because it's worldwide.
All right, let's try that.
Woodturning 360 covers the whole of the globe. It's not very expensive either.
£5 a month.
That's correct.
Praise the Lord, we're there.
But it is only interactive demos. But they have Zoom meetings twice a month. So.
All right. You'll be glad to hear we're there.
Royce the Boys said, Steve, you need a mini battery driver. The only problem with doing those with a driver is you can strip the threads really easily.
Yeah, they're only alley.
Because it's aluminium.
And it's not proper, it's cast aluminium as well, so
yep.
It's very porous.
You strip it at no time at all.
Right, let's clean this off then. Let's see if there's a... Whoops, turn that down.
See if that depth gauge worked.
Ryan, how far away from Carlo are you living?
Carlo, County Carlo. It's a fair old trek. I'll tell you in a minute.
What's a fair old track to you?
Well, it's not, like nothing for you. That's the problem. Tell you a thing.
Good luck, Steve.
Hey?
By the way, I said good luck, Steve.
Good luck, Steve, he says.
Good luck.
Carlo's about 110 miles from me, Ruby.
Oh, that's not far.
It's about 2.5 hours. 2.5 to 3 hours.
William could go down and visit you for a lesson. Or you must know of some clubs in Ireland. Or some other turners that are nearby for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that far. I mean, it's County Kildare, so it's not that far away.
What about Pat Carroll?
It's between Dublin and Kilkenny, so. According to Google Maps, it takes 2 hours and 38 minutes for me to drive there. That's
Oh.
the Carlow itself. That's the Carlow town.
Okay, so say, William, if you drove 2 hours, you could hook up with Brian one day or one weekend or something.
Good indeed.
Check out Pat Carroll. I'm not sure where in Ireland he lives, but he might even
Carlow,
be.
or, yeah. I'm not sure where Pat Carroll lives either, to be honest, or where his workshop is. But the bigger name guys are quite expensive. Like Glenn Lucas is expensive, you know. It's
Yeah, he's several hundred.
yeah, £700 for a couple of days starter course. If you're just starting out and having to just buy a lathe and tools, etc., it's a lot of money.
Hmm.
You know, to be paying.
Yes,
Out.
Hodgie is.
But I'm sure it's well worth the experience. I'm going to try and go to Glen Lucas in the summertime, as I said earlier.
Hmm.
Yeah, Glenn Lucas is in Ireland, and
Yes, yeah.
he has a school there.
He has a
And-
fabulous workshop. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be a really excellent place for you to go, William, and take lessons. Glenn's a very, very good teacher. He's got an excellent facility.
That's,
You know, that I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, he's got a bank of about 10 Vicmark lathes.
he has.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. Here's a beautiful setup. I was looking at a course sometime about July. And tend to go for the weekend, for a long weekend, if you like.
Like for me, rather than go somewhere on a vacation, sit on a beach. That's
Yeah.
boring after about 5 minutes. I'd rather go away somewhere to a school like Glenn's school or the one in France or the one in Austria, or there are several in the States, and I'd rather spend a week taking lessons.
I tried to get my wife to do that, but she won't having it.
Well, you have to find one that has activities that she might like.
Drinking alcohol, sleeping. Yeah, any of them should be fine.
Yeah, beach. Go sleep on the beach, read a book. That would be Michelle's thing. She would like to do that. But she could go and do that, and I can go woodturning. That would be fine.
So last one. Actually, no, that'll do. 240.
With what Leonard says. But if you made it to Scarborough, you can make it anywhere. Yeah, Scarborough was a bit of the. It's a bit of a destination. Let's call it that.
You survived being in the car with Pete, me, and Terry for
Yeah,
6 hours.
yeah, twice.
Right.
Busy trying to book flights to get back to Scarborough in January. But flights to Leeds, Bradford, which is the closest airport to Scarborough, only go three times a week. Ah,
So a little
Only
bit.
if there's an even number of days in a month.
yeah.
So a little bit of wax on there.
You
Monday,
always drive
Wednesday.
over.
Well, I could, yeah, I suppose. Costs about 300 quid in the ferry. Mind you, there might be some winter deals on it. I might have a look at that, actually. That may be a better option.
Right.
Boys asking, is Nikki here or are the soaps on? Soaps are probably on now.
No,
She's babysitting.
tonight. She's babysitting tonight.
She's looking after the gremlins tonight.
Babysitting the gremlins. Hope you don't get water on them after midnight.
No, they've already transferred, mate.
Oh, they
Yeah.
are already gremlins. Okay.
Yeah, they are already gremlins. Right,
Katie's asking you where you are in the world, Ruby.
The
I
Cornish
just
maid.
put it in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. It's where the Great Lakes come down to a point, and I'm in that most southern point. We're actually about further south than half of California.
Right, let's just get this mess cleared up off this lathe bit.
That's why it gets so hot in the summertime.
Ah, Lewis is in. Hi, Lewis.
Hi,
Good
Lewis.
evening, Lewis.
How you doing?
Glad to see you, Lewis.
He's just
A
finished his
fellow
work.
Canadian Indian.
Quickly, but I know what I just.
Canadian.
Lewis has just reminded me of something.
Oh, no.
We was going to talk about the Makers T-shirt,
We were.
but you forgot, Brian. Right, so
I forgot.
As you
Um,
told off.
I don't know if anybody knows, but we're doing a Makers logo T-shirt. We was originally going to do 18 spaces, 9 on the front, 9 on the back, but because of the size of the opening for the logos, we've gained a row on front and row on back. So we have available 5 spaces for logos. So if you'd like, the way it's going to work is it's £5 to put your logo on the T-shirt for the year. This will run through till December. Well, actually, let's say the 1st of January next year. So you pay £5 to the GoFundMe. The artwork will go onto the T-shirt. And then any revenue we make through selling the T-shirts through the year will go to next year's charity event. That's the only fair way we can do it, because obviously there's not going to be enough time to get your T-shirts processed and the funds coming in. So the funds that get the logo onto the T-shirt will go to this year's charity. The funds generated for the sales of the T-shirt and also next year's T-shirt will go to next year's charity. So if
I've just dropped your email into the chat.
Oh, thank you. If you would like your logo on a T-shirt, like I say, we have 5 spaces left. There's a couple on the front, couple on the back. So if you would like your logo on the T-shirt, message me, and it's first come, first serve, unfortunately. So then, if there's a space for you, you send me your artwork. You need a good quality artwork picture that is in digital format that you can send me, because obviously then I need to upload that to the T-shirt company. So if you want to be on the logo to the Makers T-shirt, then send me details that you want to be on it, and then we'll go from there. No funds to be paid yet. The funds will only be paid once everybody agrees on the style of the T-shirt and the logos on it, and then as soon as everybody agrees, the funds will be paid to GoFundMe, and then once everybody's paid for their logos, then we'll make the T-shirt live, and then people can order it. So like I say, message me on Messenger or email me if you're interested in being part of the Makers T-shirt. Right. Sorry about that.
Robert Robertson's joined.
Oh, hi, Robbo. How you doing, bud? Right.
Steve Royce, the boy, is asking, does it have to be a wood turning channel?
No, it's a Makers T-shirt. As long as you're a maker,
Makers.
it doesn't matter what it is. Right. So let's get this piece out of here.
So did you say how much the T-shirts were actually going to cost, Steve?
The T-shirts are going to work out about 18 quid each, but obviously then you got delivery on top of that.
So it's £5 to get your logo on the T-shirt.
Yep,
And then you'll have to buy the T-shirt after that, which is about 18, say 20 quid.
Yeah,
because of the postage.
Yep. Give it.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's how it's going to work, guys.
Yeah. Right. So
£5 won't buy you the T-shirt.
Oh no, definitely not. No, it's just gets your logo on the T-shirt. Right. So peace. Press the wrong button. We want this one here.
So Cornish Maid says, our cousins live near you somewhere, Ruby? I have relations in Canada too.
You do realize how big Canada is.
Yeah, I know. I have relations that are near Prince Edward's Island.
Yeah, that's about 20-hour drive from me.
Yeah.
Wayne Bigfoot's
A long
in.
way.
Hi, Wayne and Valerie.
Hi,
Right,
Wayne.
Wayne
Wow.
and Valerie, how you both well? Right, so here we go. Bowl. It's got a yellow tinge to the inside, and then coloured with the intrinsic colours we used: honey, flame red, dark red, and green, forest green, and forest green.
Canadian red.
And then
Canadian red.
sand and sealed.
There's only one thing wrong with it, Steve.
Go on then, hit me with it.
If you look at the bottom of that bowl, I don't see the maker's name on it yet.
It will have when I put it in a laser engraver.
Oh, okay. You didn't explain you were going to do that to the rest of us.
Sorry. You didn't give me a chance, Ruby. You jumped in. You sort of
don't
tried.
know.
You tried to pull
Consider
me
it.
up.
Just consider yourself told off.
I will, Ruby. I will put one in there for you. So yeah. So then we put we sand and sealed it. Then we put gold embellish and wax over it to enhance the grain. And on the other side, just left au naturel
It's a really nice little bowl. I have to say.
with
That's pretty sad.
sand and sealer, and then just finish with 2 coats of Hampshire Sheen Eye Gloss wax. So there we go. Nice little bowl. Nice easy little finish. So let's
Now,
bring it.
Steve,
Yes,
if you didn't have a laser engraver, how would you put your name on there?
I have somewhere one of those branding iron things.
Okay, and if you didn't have a branding iron, what would you do?
Oh, you're just trying to catch me up now, aren't you? You're just trying to pull me up now.
I just signed
No,
mine with a pen.
I'm just trying to make you think, because
I don't know, to be honest.
most of the people out there don't have a laser engraver, or they don't have a branding iron.
To be honest, when I first used to use my Pyro pen just to write skkrafts on it, but it didn't look very
I just
tidy.
signed mine with a pen and then sanding seal over it.
There you go. So,
Well,
yeah.
we're going to have to upgrade you, Mark.
He's got a laser
um,
engraver.
He's got a
Really?
laser engraver.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I sent him a laser engraver, but he's afraid of it.
Yeah, it scares me.
Well, didn't you go with it to give them lessons?
Well, I'm going to have to go over in the summertime now springtime. I
Yes,
hope
he is.
we're going to come and see Mark in the springtime.
Good.
Michelle and I are going to go over and annoy him for a week or so.
Oh yes.
Now,
You
let me ask you fellows this question. When you make a piece, do you put the date on the bottom?
I put the year on it. I don't
I
put the
put the
date on
year.
it.
Just a year.
No, I don't at all.
I
ever.
also, the pieces that I sign, because I only sign the good stuff. The pieces I sign, I put a hashtag with a number, and I've got everything written.
This is
in the little book.
Diary.
this is
little
what
book.
this is the way I do mine with the laser
I-
engraver. Just 2021 on that one. I just put the year on. I don't put the date on it. Just the year.
Okay.
That's why
Do
on the
you
good
date-
stuff, I'm only up to number 58.
Do you date anything, Ruby? Do you date everything?
I used to, I don't anymore. But what I
Right.
will do is, for example, I'll put just my last name, but quite often what I'll do is put the type of wood that it is.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Especially for me, because I can't remember what I was returned.
Well, half the time you don't know what it is.
Exactly. Well, I do. I'm getting better now because I actually write on the wood when I buy it. So
Yeah.
when I bought that, I got Nick in the back of the car writing everything on it what it was. So right then. So, is there any questions for Ruby before we go? So Doug Miller's just messaged me about being on the Maker's shirt. So yes, Doug, there is a space available for you, so that's not a problem.
Good.
And I've had a massive
What's wrong with Rob?
I've had a massive response with the hashtag snowman week. So
A massive response.
yeah, there's about 20 or 30 pictures come in.
Have I sent a picture yet?
I doubt it. So
Probably not.
So yeah, there'll be the video for that on Sunday, and then we'll announce the next, because we're going to do one for every Sunday of this week or this month even.
You're going to announce it.
Tomorrow. Sunday.
That'll be difficult. It's already up there.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. So I don't need to announce it. Just come over and
No,
enjoy.
you don't. No, just what you like.
Well, it was
It's
early in the
supposed to be
morning.
it's supposed to be a secret until the Sunday, but I don't
Steve
know.
likes to get his links out early.
What am I going to do, Easty?
Well, you know.
He likes early links, long
Yeah.
intros.
No. Enormously long intros.
You wait until I see the one I've done for you, Brian. I've just linked your 3 lives together.
All right, okay. That's going to be
Steve-
interesting.
If Steve had to write a Lonely Arts advert for a singles paper, it would be
Be 3 pages long.
likes walking in the forest, long intros, early links,
Early links are good. Early links are good.
and holes in balls.
Holes in, but hang on. Well, hang on a minute. Funnel
Shut it, you.
Who was the last person to go through the bottom of a ball? Let me think about that one.
That was Mark Beckett,
Yeah,
live on YouTube.
yeah.
He sanded it from the
Through the
outside.
bottom.
Yeah, see, well, it don't matter. Hole's a hole, mate. You know what they say?
Yeah.
Right then, so if there's no more questions, let's just quickly show this bowl again.
Good lad.
So, nice little bowl. Is that where we're going? Here, wrong screen, this one here. So, nice little bowl. Hey, what size did we finish up with? What do you reckon? 7.5? Oh, that was a good guess. 7.5 inches wide by overall depth of just under 2 inches, or for Ruby, 50 mil.
Oh, where's Ruby went?
Is Ruby gone?
Have we lost Ruby?
Oh no. Ruby, where are you?
She's in Canada.
Ruby.
Come back, Ruby. There she is.
She's back.
She's frozen.
Oh no, Ruby. What's going on?
What's going on? Ruby's.
Oh, hang on, there she is. Cheers, she's
There
back.
she is.
Hello, Ruby.
You kicked me out.
No, we didn't kick you out. No, we didn't kick you out. We wouldn't do that to you.
All of a sudden you froze and then you disappeared on me totally.
Oh.
And it hasn't even started snowing yet.
It's on its way, that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right, so that's the live. Any questions for Ruby, stick them in. Obviously, we've not got no questions. So just next Friday will be the auction. We will be kicking it off at 7:45. Unfortunately, Mark's not here. That's Kim's birthday, so Mark's spending the evening with Kim, as he should. So happy birthday to Kim anyway. For next Friday.
I don't know. I don't think she's a lack of enthusiasm. That's what I think.
What's going on with Brian's size? Look, Brian shrunk in the corner.
Again. It's the heat in here. I'm shriveling up in the heat.
Will you sit still? That's because you keep fidgeting.
Well, if you didn't have so many lights on,
Oh,
Brian,
they're
you wouldn't be able
LEDs. They
to
don't
see.
generate any heat.
What it is that's a power surge because all them lights is just drawing the current out of your electric. That's what it is.
Shining
got
off your
them on
bald
it.
spot as well.
I've got them on a nice slow
Oh,
twinkle
what's
as
this
well.
got?
Rather
It's gone
than,
huge now. Look, what's going on here? Look.
oh, here, what's happening here?
Dodgy bandwidth. That's what that is.
Should be
Dodgy
banned.
bandwidth. You
Banned.
should be banned.
Right.
Well,
So
Christmas
Decorations
should be
like that.
banned.
Decorations like that.
you're having a laugh now. What's going on here? Hang on a second. Let's see the
What are you
boundary.
doing? I'm in Ruby's sitting room suddenly.
It's the shine. It's the shine off his forehead that's doing it.
What are you doing?
There you
What's
go.
wrong with my forehead?
The 5 head.
That's it. I'm putting my hat on.
God.
In fact, I might even give you a little. I'll give you a little rendition.
Don't have to.
Oh dear, Jesus. All right. So as I was saying, the auction will kick off on Friday at 7:15. No, 7:45 even. We are
What's the
going
weekend?
to for our people across the seas. We are going to be doing a converter, obviously from pounds to US dollars or Canadian dollars. It was suggested by a couple of people that it might be helpful because obviously most of the people are going to be in British pounds, so we're going to do that for you guys. But as it says in the video, there's only going to be a 10-minute space to get your auction offers or your bids in. And we don't, I mean, we've got to keep it fair. If not, we're going to be there all night auctioning off. So we've decided to allocate 10 minutes per auction or per piece. But you'll get a 9-minute warning, so you'll get a minute left. That should be more than enough time for you to have the lag between hearing it, getting your bid in, and it coming into the chat. Then what that'll be is that'll be the first finished, the last bid in before the timer runs out. Anything after that, unfortunately, we're going to have to decline it because we've got to keep it fair. If not, we'll just keep going and going and going. And with 12 pieces to get through, it's still quite a long process to do it. And then we've got the raffle, the draw, and everything else. So we've got to try and keep it as fair as possible. So come over and join us for that. Spread the word. Let's get as many people in as we can and hopefully raise as much money as we can for the Salvation Army. Again, if you want your raffle tickets, go over to the GoFundMe and get your raffle tickets. Last raffle ticket in is going to be midday on the Friday because obviously we need time to log them up and get the numbers to them and do other bits and bobs. But in the live will be myself, Brian, Nick's coming in, and she's going to be on camera.
She's going to be on camera.
She's going to be on camera. And also Mike Walt's coming in as well. He wanted to come in and give us a hand. So there'll be four of us, so it may be a bit chaotic, but it'll be anything but a laugh. I don't think I'm going to be turning that night. I think I'm going to actually concentrate on the auction rather than turning because it might be a bit mayhem if we try and do too many different things. So it'll be just a night dedicated to the auction. And hopefully we can raise some good funds for...
it's a fantastic cause as well, because Salvation Army helps the homeless this time of year.
Exactly.
More so than most of the year, but this time of year particularly, it's bad for the homeless. So.
They do try their very best over Christmas and New Year to get people off the street. And that starts them on the journey towards getting off the street.
And just remember, nearly everybody who works for the Salvation Army does it all voluntary. They do not charge for it. It's all voluntary, so people are giving up their time. So if we can support them helping others, it's a bonus. Absolute massive bonus.
Absolutely.
And like I say, it's outstanding with the support we've had so far, with people buying the raffle tickets, people donating. Like I say, I didn't expect we'd get nearly 350 quid before we even started the auction. So a massive thank you to each and everyone who's donated and bought raffle tickets. Everything's go for the prizes. As I said before, as soon as the winning bidders come in or the raffle's been drawn, I will then pass over the winner will pass me their details. I will pass their details over to the donator maker or the company that the raffle's been drawn on, and then you guys can sort it out between you about getting shipping. I think a lot of the makers are going to ship after Christmas. The reason being because of the Christmas rush. It may get lost or damaged in the post, so you might as well just be patient and wait till after Christmas for it, and especially if it's going overseas. So I'm going to post my piece on after Christmas. So
So am I.
Yeah, it makes sense because if not, it's going to get lost in the post. So with that,
what time is it going to start on Friday? Your time?
The auction.
7:45.
Yeah, same as tonight, Ruby. 7:45. The auction will start, and then we will obviously just gradually work our way through the lots. I mean, there's 12 lots to go through, and then we might do a few, then do a prize draw, and then do a few more and do a prize draw, and then do
That's
it like
the way
that.
it goes, Steve.
Yeah, I think just break up a little bit rather than doing lot after lot after lot, and it just makes it a little bit more interesting. Obviously, we want to try and keep people entertained as well, but obviously the purpose is to try and auction these pieces off at some good money. And
Steve will be wearing fancy dress.
No, he won't.
Did you loan him your tutu?
Could have done. I could post it to you, Steve.
It's not going to happen, Mark.
You disappoint people.
I know. Well,
think of the charity.
I am thinking of charity. That's why I'm not going to dress up.
He wants to keep people, not scare people away.
Yeah, this is not a Halloween show. So anyway, guys, massive support, massive thank you to you all. I will be back Sunday. Sunday lunchtime live with the hashtag Christmas decoration. Thanks,
There
Brian.
you go. See.
So and I'll also be showing off the montage of all the snowmen. I had loads of people send me snowmen, so I really do appreciate that. And with that, I think we'll go knock it on the head. Massive thank you to Ruby for coming over and joining us. Thank you very much, Ruby.
And thank you for inviting me, and thank you for putting this on and all the hard work all three of you do.
Wow,
Thank you,
during the
Ruby.
year.
Thank you, Ruby.
it's worth it. It's
It
worth
is.
it. So, what's a few spare hours to us helping others? Nothing, is it? Right. So, good night, all. Thank you, Brian and Mark. See you guys Sunday. Take care. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
And we